We are now live. Howdy. Welcome to this edition of Arcade. Adam's not here today, so I'm taking over as show host. So you've all got to enjoy my lovely voice. And with me today, I've got Dave, Cosmic, and Welshie. How's everyone doing?
We're back!
We're here! You shall not pass!
Lol.
Alright, so this week we've got a lovely sum of news articles. Hopefully not as long as the last episode, but nonetheless, we've got a nice sum of articles, and after Arcade we'll be doing some Defiance Community Night. So if you guys want to team up with us on Defiance and have some fun with the crew at LagSpike, you're more than welcome to. But for now, we're going to start.
Super jealous of my armor.
Alright, so to kick off, we have the WarZ security alert, which I don't know if anyone's heard about this.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Trust me, I've been watching a lot of security news lately.
Well, you deal with a lot of servers, so we understand why. So, those that have WarZ may have known that in the past, the forums have been gained access, and there's been all the password controversy, among other communities as well. However, this morning, everyone that has WarZ or is on the forums got a copy of this email. No payment information has been exposed, but your email addresses have been exposed. But as for passwords, they're highly happy that it's all encrypted, that no one's got them. However, they do recommend that you change your password immediately as a precaution.
So everyone was supposed to get this email, right?
Yeah, everyone was meant to get this email.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's a couple, not everyone's on this call in the show.
Let's see. Yeah, because I'm looking at my emails. I've got nothing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
That's kind of more worrying for me then.
Yeah, because
Maybe they did it to all the people who they thought was compromised?
Oh man.
Maybe. I don't know. Either that or their system is derping out
Well,
and they
I'm
haven't
not
got around
surprised
to
because
everybody.
they've got like over 1,000 members on their forums, so...
Yeah.
Well,
I tell her I got an email.
Okay, you got one.
Yeah. I
Well,
just seen it.
Here's the deal on this, though. The thing is ever since Kotaku has declared war on them, the War Z is been a target for hackers and in the game and out of the game. So to say that this is not a surprise is an understatement. These guys, they're a small group. They're trying to put together a game, and because everybody perceives of it as being a ripoff of another game, which we're about to talk about right after this, they've been getting blasted, and to be honest with you, it's unfair to them. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but then again, there's a lot of similarities between the DayZ and Walking Dead too, guys. It's not like this is a genre that leaves a big, huge gap of differences. In Walking Dead, what does it rip off from? World War Z, which is another movie, which is coming out as a movie here soon. So, a lot of this genre is all steals from one another. They play there a little, just differently enough that I consider them two separate games, and they should be kept as two separate games. But because one major website in Kotaku, owned by Gawker, has decided that to take a vendetta out against these poor guys, they're getting slammed, and they don't have the server knowledge. They're readily able to admit the fact that they don't have the team yet, in place to be able to handle this kind of stuff, and they get hacked. They go down.
The way I see it is this: is that the people who are holding these vendettas against War Z and the devs and whatever this war that is supposedly raging, is that I just wish that somebody comes along and drops a tactical nuke right on their heads, because they don't need to do it. What's the point? I can understand, right? Like maybe because you got the other game that we're coming up to shortly we talked about, but at the end of the day, we're in a big phase of over zombies. Zombies is the big phase.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right now. And there's obviously going to be similarities between games, and people are going to compare them between each games. Same for MMOs, There's a lot of similarities between what people do between MMOs to World of Warcraft, for example. People do it all the time.
Because you always get the similarities between different games, and it's how the companies do their different spin on the games that what makes them are.
Yeah.
Different.
Well, I mean, come on.
Because you get the same thing with the console wars, and
it's all stupid, is what it all comes down to. And in essence, as the news gets out into the mainstream press about what's going on, it makes gamers look like petty little children. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't any petty little children involved. There are a ton of gamers. But when you're talking, it taints everybody. And it's just like, all the other controversies that are currently out there concerning video games. When you've got a few little rogue elements, the rogue elements are the ones that are going to get the press. And what's going to end up happening is just it makes the entire industry look bad. And here comes all the bad news, and then here comes all the Pentecostal or whoever that hate video games will all of a sudden start popping up and see, this is why you need to ban them, and you're not helping the situation.
Yeah,
Stop
and I mean,
this bullshit.
I really don't understand why people make such a big deal about it. Even like people going around saying, "Oh, it's copying DayZ," blah blah blah. It's like, dude, even if it was, so what?
But
It's like
game.
MMOs have been around, and they've been literally the exact same thing, pretty much. Same concept, same kind of like design and everything. The only thing that's changed is the story and like the world. That is it. And we've been dealing with that for years. Nobody's really been, complaining about it. And then this comes along and everybody wants to, get up in arms about it. It's like, it's just ridiculous.
definitely. And the next part of the story is the competition, which
War Z and the devs need to have a tactical nuke on their heads.
Well,
There's no need for it.
the next part of the story is how the creator of DayZ is considering a console port if nothing quote unquote fucks up on the PC release, which would be good because then that means, you know, the console players, mainly PS3 or PS4 being that, because next gen's just around the corner, is that we'll get a ported version of DayZ, and whether it would mean cross-platform or not, well, we'll see.
Yeah,
What do
that'll
you
be.
think on the...
I think that'll be interesting to see how that works, because I know with the mod right now, the control scheme is way too complex for a controller. So I think it'd be interesting to see what they've done with their engine to make it compatible to go onto a controller. And still have fluid movement and everything.
Speaking of that, Stu, go to the next link.
Next link, okay.
Because this week is PAX East, I believe. And day one, who was one of the big presenters? DayZ Standalone.
Yep.
And some of your questions are answered in this article, by the way.
Hello guys, hey, RipperX here with MMORPG.com.
Yeah, but I mean, if they've
and
got
FPS
just
Guru.
basic
I'm here
movement
with
stuff,
Dean
pretty
Rocket.
much, you know, your crouch, your prone, you know, sprint, stuff like that, and they don't go all crazy with trying to do all this other stuff like, you know, Arma 2's control scheme was, then yeah, it could probably very easily be transferred over to consoles. Now, current gen, I don't know, depends really on how optimized their engine is and what kind of, you know, graphics and everything like that they have on there. I mean, it looks nice, but I think that they would probably try to go for, like, next gen.
Yeah, well, what they say in this article, by the way, is one of the first paragraphs is talking about the fact that the standalone isn't based on Arma 2, and it isn't really based on Arma 3 either. They basically used whatever they could to get to create a better experience altogether for the standalone.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what they need to do. We've experienced the mod, and we've experienced the bad sides of the mod too. And a more unique game engine is going to give you a better situation and less chances. It'll eventually be hacked, but it'll give you less chances to be hacked.
Yeah, and it allows to have a better anti-hack system in there, like Punk Buster or whatever they decide to do, because I mean WarZ went with their own in-house developed one. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do about the hacking. But the overall experience of DayZ was phenomenal, that's why I got drawn into it. But it's the bad side that put myself off of it from playing it anymore.
Yeah, so I'm skimming through this real quick so you guys know. They've taken some ideas from XCOM. They've taken some ideas from other mods. See, and that's what they needed to do for this. They needed to have something that's, you know, a good mishmash of things that are there that they can use and utilize to make a better experience for the player. Yeah. And that's...
Yeah.
I have better hopes because of this, even despite the community.
Yeah, and with them using, like, you know, their engine and all that stuff that they've been working on for the, you know, standalone version, they feel more comfortable with it, you know, or they should, rather than, you know, when they've started, you know, doing the mod and everything like that, having to learn, you know, the Arma 2 engine and all that stuff, where now they know what they have, they know what they can do, and you know, something goes wrong or they want to add something, stuff like that, they can do it probably a lot easier now because they know and understand more of what they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, there's hacking attempts and everything. The way also they need to realise that Daisy's running off Arma 2. The devs at Arma 2 might say, well, guess what? We've had enough of you guys and this plot palavers going on. We'll just release something to make sure Daisy can't be used on our game. Because all the nonsense is going on. I mean, they could
I
easily
don't
do
think they
that.
would do that because then, you know, it'll throw up another issue, and you really don't want all that palaver.
Yeah, but I
So
mean that they
it's-
could do that if,
Oh yeah,
if
they've
you know, it gets out of control.
Yeah, but then there's ways around it. You know, you can rename them as to like Bobsy or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll still be able to play it. So there's all that palaver, and it would.
Yeah.
I mean, the devs on that side are more focused on Arma 3 than blocking some mod. So I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I think that's the big difference between Warzy and Daisy anyway. One's a mod and one's an actual game.
For the moment, yes.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure. You're going to kill me for this one.
DuckTales Remastered
Dude,
expands story.
yes, I saw this, I was like, what? No fucking way. Because literally, alright. Quick side story, down, Cosmics, work day, okay? Go to work, sitting there, talking to my boss and everything. We're trying to figure something out right before a meeting, okay? And he was like, what was that show with the old duck guy, he swims with the gold and stuff, and like, it escaped me, dude. I was like, oh my god, and I was like singing the song, but I couldn't get the name in there, and I figured it out, and he was like, oh yeah. I mean, I remember watching this on TV. Like the actual show.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude, I want to play this now. I really do.
Sorry,
Okay, so everybody knows about this real quick, because since I was the one that did it, I read through the story. DuckTales was an old NES game.
Yeah.
And the storyline sucked. Okay?
Mhm.
It played alright. I mean, it was kind of a platformer type of deal, and, you know, it was based on the television show DuckTales. It kind of sucked because the storyline didn't make sense. So, the fact that they're fixing the storyline and then they're making it a downloadable game on the Xbox 360.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
You know, this is one of the first ones. They were making comments about the fact they were going to make available a whole bunch of older games downloadable on the Xbox over Xbox Live, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's going to be.
I've got to look for that, man.
That's going to please a lot of people that played those games, because I know a few of them from college and everything, and because I mean we got into the whole discussion of all these old games and the fact that they're bringing them, they're remodeling them essentially to bring them out onto the current gen consoles or next gen consoles to be more playable. It allows for the newer generation to experience what the previous generation had when games first came about. So,
retro gaming, like I said last week, is extremely big on services like Instagib and Twitch. And here you go. You don't need an emulator. That's great. You can broadcast cleaner and better quality without having to sneak an emulator in behind the scenes. I think that's fantastic.
I just want to play this game. I'm just sitting here looking at it, dude. I'm just like,
that's gonna please a lot of people.
So is it basically just like a remake of the original one, but just fixed, pretty much?
Yeah,
All right, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, because I never got to play the original one. So this'll, yeah, definitely. I gotta check this out.
Yeah.
And the next article is Crytek USA wants to buy the Darksiders IP. Because I remember this one because when THQ was selling off its IP, I believe Crytek has the rights now for Darksiders.
No.
No?
No. What happened in the auction is Darksiders never got bid on.
Ah.
Yeah, nobody bid on it and everything.
Nobody bid on it, but now Crytek's looking back and saying, I think we want that.
Well, it's because
Crytek won something out of that, and I don't remember what they got.
Yeah,
I
because
think Crytek would definitely be a good company to develop a Darksiders game.
Yeah, the reason why they're looking at bidding it on it right now is that it says right here at the bottom of the article, it says that there was no bidder in the January auction, right, for the THQ stuff. This says basically later in the month, Crytek announced the formation of an American office led by basically like 36 people from Visual Games.
Mm-hmm.
So
Teach me
when
to
that
read
entire
the article.
office, when the entire office is made up of people who made the game, then yeah, they feel that it should be with the people who friggin' made it. So I think that's the reason why they're gonna push for it, and I think it'd be awesome.
I think that's probably where I got things mixed up, is that the fact they have people from the old team rather than having the IP rights.
Yeah.
That's probably where I got it mixed up.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that ends up turning out. I think it would be awesome because pretty much as it stands right now with nobody bidding on it, Darksiders is pretty much done until it goes somewhere. So I would rather have it go to Crytek and go into those people who have worked on the game before than it just go some random people, you know what I mean, who would probably end up butchering the series by changing way too much.
If they've got 35 people from Visual Games, the original developers of the game, it allows Crytek to be able to develop a new Darksiders that still has its core elements. So the old team can help direct.
Yeah, the only fucked up thing is, I guess, they apparently said that Crytek said the North American office would not develop any new Darksider games. So
They might have some of their input, but not.
But
that'd be probably about it. But
I think the most reasonable thing that would probably end up happening. This is probably I would say this is probably gonna 100% happen. Is Crytek will probably get the rights to Darksiders, right? Give it to the studio, but have them work on like one or two projects before they do anything with Darksiders, so that way they can plan in the background. Hey, this is the game we want to make. This is what we got, and then have them basically pitch it out to them, and Crytek be like, oh, all right, yeah. So.
It also would allow them to go to a next-gen console.
Yeah.
By waiting.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of next-gen consoles, we've got a piece of next-gen news, actually.
Yeah.
Which is, Thief.
Oh my god.
I'll move this over here.
There are those that believe.
Didn't they show this before or talk about it at like E3 or something?
Yeah, they spoke about it, and this is the first trailer for next gen. And from what I've heard, the trailer's completely real time on next gen platform.
We can only hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm just saying, man. I can't wait for the next gen fucking Elder Scrolls game. I'm just saying. Oh, that shit look good now. Just wait.
Oh hell yeah.
It's a way of
I mean, you see Killzone come out when they showed the trailer for that, and your mind was just blown that it's so close to PC graphics now.
Yeah. I remember them talking about this game at E3 and stuff, and just the way they were talking about it just kind of was like, wow, I want to play this. And I don't know, just the name, Thief, you know, just running around, being all sneaky and shit. I don't know, it just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I actually have the original Thief, and I mean from way back, and this version looks like, I have to say, it looks like an upgraded version from Assassin's Creed in a lot of ways.
Wow.
But except for the fact that you're actually, not trying to kill everybody, you're just trying to take stuff, and that makes it's going to make it a little more challenging, and it looks awesome. It really does.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Actually, you know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like if anybody played Tenchu Z, how you had to stay stealthy and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. 'Cause you gotta lurk in the shadows, stay stealthy, stuff like that, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I looked at the original Thief back in the day, and it wasn't my type of game back then, so I haven't really dabbled with it. So I don't know the original Thief.
yeah.
This one, going based off the trailer, it looks really good. It reminds me of Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Sneaky.
And more next gen news would be the Metal Gear Solid V Phantom Pain trailer. Now, I don't know if anyone's followed any of the Metal Gear Solid series.
Don't you die on me, damn it. He be robbing.
No. So I watched this trailer and was completely lost, so.
Oh, don't worry, I've played every single game, and I'm still lost on the trailer.
Okay. Just making sure it's on me.
Now, the person that's laying in the bed next to Snake is Miller, who was introduced in Metal Gear Solid 2, I believe it was. So, you've got a familiar face, but as for the story of this one, I am completely lost. It is after the last Metal Gear Solid, Guns of Patriot.
How's he doing?
So we know it's based more in the future.
He's in a coma.
And this is on PlayStation 4. One bit of sad news for loyal Metal Gear Solid fans is that David Hayter's voice will not be played for Snake in this Metal Gear Solid. He did approach Konami and ask about why he wasn't approached for the voice. They turned around and said that they're not interested in putting him in for this role for this game. Which is sad, because he's been in all 9 games over the years, and he said that it will be a sad thing to see that someone else is going to play the voice of Snake, and he won't see Snake in the same light.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
To me, that's like Konami screwing themselves. You know?
Yeah.
I think essentially if they can't get someone with the exact same voice, then yeah.
I don't get why they wouldn't let him do it. Like, I don't understand.
I know
It's like-
he's directing his first film, but you could have considered them to be more open and allow him to plan around that and get the voicing done, but
Yeah.
apparently not so. So this will be out on PlayStation 4. no news on any other consoles. It's probably exclusive.
Could be, yeah. But to me, it's like a silly, games and they don't go with the same guy. That's ending the consistency.
Yeah. Like, that's just, like, I don't know, it's just a terrible idea.
It is a bad thing. It does suck because I will be getting the PlayStation 4, and this will be one of the games I'm looking forward to. But whether I'll enjoy it is the same, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
I think that'll be in a lot of the back of like a lot of people's minds. You know, so
Definitely. But the footage you see in the video is completely on the console as well. So all looks really good.
Can't wait for that shit.
Right, and if anyone's fans of the DC universe, I know Dave's probably looking forward to this article rather than the previous one.
You'd be surprised, actually, on that.
Yeah,
No?
right. Oh.
So, good news for anyone that has an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, Injustice Gods Among Us will be arriving on the demo. Fans can find the demo as of tomorrow, April 3rd, both on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. You'll be able to play Batman, Wonder Woman, and Lex Luthor. Set in the Gotham City arena, where fans get to taste of the included characters' unique superpowers and individual move sets as they destroy elements of the world. So, who's looking forward to getting hold of the demo and having a little battle?
Well, this is is going to be the really hyped version of Mortal Kombat versus DC, which came out. I mean, that's kind of the basis of this, and why DC decided to go it alone and do, strictly a DC game. It's going to spawn. Time Warner, owners of DC, are hoping that they can kickstart their video games with things like this one for fighting tournaments, just like, Street Fighter fighting tournaments and Mortal Kombat fighting tournaments. They want to be able to do fighting tournaments for the popularity using this as the basis of the game. They're now coming out with a MOBA. And to try to compete in the MOBA space, and also, again, the tournaments, the broadcasts, the online broadcasting, they are seeing where the money is, and they saw, I believe it was CBS, make the deal with Twitch for doing broadcasting tournaments and such. So, and they're seeing things like, Tryon making deals and for Defiance, and they have decided, rightly or wrongly, we'll see if they're right, they've decided that we need to get into these spaces because this is the new medium. This is the new medium to promote our other products, and that's what they're aiming for. And whether or not they succeed or not, this is going to make a big deal. If this is a really good game, which, from all indications I have, this is going to be a great game, play-wise. And the fact Aquaman can actually kick ass will make it, considering, look at what all they own. I mean, they own Cartoon Network, they own DC Comics. It adds an aspect that then they can come up with some other things, like, seeing their other shows in MMOs and MOBAs and stuff like that. They haven't had good luck. The last time they really jumped hard into video games, we ended up with Matrix Online. And then that died. So, to see how this works, PC has not had a very good run at video games. So I'm gonna watch this, and if they do well though, and they start getting, that translates to more people buying comic books and more people going to Batman and Superman movies, because remember the Superman movie's coming. So they're looking to see what Marvel's done, and they're looking to see what all these other companies have done, and they're finally taking the step into it, and we'll see how it all works.
Definitely. See if we can get a copy to review. I'll probably broadcast the demo this week. Show that off a little bit. Again, the next sort of article, we know Dave's a big fan of Star Trek. I'm a big fan of Star Trek, so be interesting to see what everyone thinks of this one.
You keep getting me killed. I thought you had my back.
This is shenanigans.
Well, I don't know if anyone remembers the old episode where Kirk was versing the Gorn, and then because obviously the new Star Trek game is coming out, they've made a more of a
Hold on just a minute.
newer promo of it.
God, that game is gonna be so sweet though.
And it is
Both
quite
those guys
fun.
are 70 years old. I will point this out.
Uh-huh.
Too old for this kind of thing.
I want to play that game, dude. That game looks sick.
The game looks amazing, especially co-op wise as well, because you even get to pilot the Enterprise at one point, and yes.
All right, now you're overacting.
This is going to be a really good video game, but the thing is about this commercial, the guy in the Gorn outfit is really the guy who played the Gorn in that episode.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and that's the key part about it. If you know that behind the scenes, it's
I did not know that
it's
part. I
hilarious.
knew obviously Shatner was, you know,
Yeah.
Captain Kirk back in the day, but that definitely made me laugh this morning when I saw that, and thought, Christ, I remember that episode. I remember sitting there on that couch and watching that.
And the episode was called The Arena.
See,
So, you know.
you can tell Dave's a Star Trek fan when he remembers the episode
Hey, if
title.
I could remember the damn names of the shows. You know, I've watched it enough times. That actually was one of my favorite Trek episodes. So, the fact that Kirk makes the shotgun is just...
That was a good episode.
Crazy.
And for those that love poker,
Oh, well, this one is just kind of... Telltale Games has got a new game coming out, and they decided to have fun with their trailer.
Rated M for mature.
I haven't even seen this yet.
Oh god. Yeah.
Frickin' zombies.
Have you tried using all your inventory items with all your other inventory items?
Sometimes I gotta tell you can't do that.
Stop pussyfooting around and give those undead jerks a taste of your
What are
boomstick.
they playing?
Primitive Earth weapons, minion! Run over to that vending machine over there and get yourself a badass Hyperion conference call!
No, wait. Go back to Clementine's house for
Siphon
a
some
ball of
gas for a
string.
chainsaw.
Ooh,
Check it out!
use the string with the rock.
Get the rock. Fire or boom.
Go! This isn't working. Let's play something else. Something with high stakes.
Ooh, I've got an idea, but we'll need another player.
Guys, this isn't working.
Quiet before the crying starts.
Really, they got
Oh,
from
no
Portal.
way! GLaDOS at the end.
GLaDOS,
bro.
I couldn't remember her name for a minute. Oh, that's fail for me.
Laugh track. Rock Samson from what is that? Adventure Time? No. What the fuck am I talking about?
Venture Brothers.
Yeah, Adventure Brothers. I knew it was Adventure something. Shit. Yeah.
Yep.
And I can't remember the other two. I know the dog is from a game.
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's.
Who was the
gonna
other
be-
guy?
What? Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, that's what I thought. He said broomstick. I was like, what?
Evil Dead.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
Evil Dead,
dude. I
dude.
know.